The objective of this video is to determine how to find the mean of group data. And the problem we're going to look at is from your textbook on page 120, problem number 18. This one deals with net worth of corporations. The data represent the net worth in millions of dollars of 45 national corporations. And what we have to work with, if you notice here, is we have an interval of values. So 10 to 20 millions of dollars, there were 2 corporations that were in that interval. And from 21 to 31 millions of dollars, there were 8 corporations in that interval. We don't know what the individual corporation's net worth is, but we know that there were 8 in that particular interval. So anyway, this is the information that we're given, and we'd like to calculate the mean for this distribution. Well, to do this, the first thing we need to do is find the midpoints of these intervals. And to calculate the midpoint is to add both the min and max of that interval and divide by 2. So 10 plus 20 divided by 2 is going to give us 15. So we're going to calculate the midpoint, and I'm just going to put in another column here. And this midpoint's 15. And let's see if I can do this better with the pen. Midpoints. Okay. So the midpoint for the next interval from 21 to 31, well, we add 21 plus 31 and divide by 2, and that's going to give us 26. And the same thing with the rest of the intervals. So the midpoint of this interval would be 37. And the midpoint of the next interval would be 48. And the next interval has a midpoint at 59. And the last interval's midpoint is at 70. And now what we want to do is use this data, these 2 columns here, frequency and midpoint, to calculate the mean for the distribution. Okay, so back over here on our calculator, remember we were working with this earlier, and we're going to select stat. Over there, stat, and we need to put this information in a list. So we're going to choose edit, enter, and as you see, this is our last information we had. So we need to clear that list. We're going to arrow up, press the clear key, arrow up. Few issues here. We've got the list, and we're going to clear the list and then arrow down. And so for our list 1, we want to use the midpoints. So we're going to type in 15, enter, 26, 37, 48, 59, and 70. And then we're going to arrow to the right and type in the frequency under list 2. This is how many of those values occurred in each interval. So we're typing in 2, 8, 15, 7, 10, and 3. Now, to calculate the mean for this data, we go back, press the stat key. Remember, we used under calculation, so we arrow to the right, 1 variable stat. We're still working with 1 variable. The variable of interest is the net worth in millions of dollars. So we're going to choose 1, so that's enter. And our list that we're working with in list 1 is this midpoint. The frequency list is list 2 because the midpoint 15 occurs twice. So we're going to do second, and remember the list 2 is right above the number 2 in blue. So second 2 puts in list 2. And then we just want to arrow down and key an enter for calculate. And this gives us the mean for this set of data. So the mean, or the average for this set of data, I'm just having trouble with the pad here. X bar equals 42.8, we'll round it off to 2 decimal places. 42.87 is our mean, or average. Now, in the same problem, if I wanted to find the modal class, now what that means is when we go back over here and consider these class limits that we're looking at in this far left-hand corner, which of these classes has the highest frequency? So the modal class would have been this one right here, which is 32 to 42 is the modal class, because the highest number of corporations are in that particular interval from 32 to 42.